All right, we're going to go ahead and move into our community connection segment with our honored guest today, Mr. Michael Barclift. How are you this afternoon?
Peace, greetings. I'm doing good. I'm blessed.
All
It's
right.
an honor to be here. I'm very thankful for y'all having me.
Absolutely, and welcome to Talk is Cheap. Just wanted to give you an opportunity to give a brief bio of yourself to the listeners.
Okay, sure. Well, basically, I am a hip-hop artist. I've been in the game 30 years, over 30 years now.
Wonderful.
I started recording music in 1983 at the age of 9.
Wow.
I put out 10 underground albums.
Woo-hoo.
And recently, in 2014, I released my first book. I'm a self-published author. The book is entitled Voiceless, the Journal of an Underground Starving Artist. So it is 3 decades worth of stories.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes.
Wonderful. So let me ask you, what inspired you to become an author and put your feelings and thoughts down on paper for others to read?
Well, I started writing out of therapy, actually. Being a starving artist can be very disappointing at times. It can be frustrating. And those of us who are really calling to this calling and connected to it, sometimes we make a lot of sacrifices that may hurt other people, it may hurt family members, it may even hurt ourselves. And a lot of decisions and choices you make when you're not balanced because you are so obsessed with one thing, you neglect other things, and then one day you realize that the one thing you've been putting all your energy into didn't love you back the way you loved it, and everything else is looking at you like, we need to be fixed too. So, I kind of hit a crash, I hit a low point. I stepped away from the mic and the studio and the shows and all the street life, and I just quietly wanted a place to just write my thoughts down. And I didn't intend to write a book. I just started writing for therapy. I would just jot down my thoughts and feelings and throw the notes in a shoebox, and I wouldn't even read what I wrote. And then maybe about 6 months later, I opened up the shoebox and I started flipping through the pages, and I was blown away by all the things that I had captured on paper and all the things memories that I had recalled. And I realized, you have a book here. So I said, I'm going to finish this work and put that out. And it took about 5 years from that point to complete, but I'm really proud of it. It's one of my greatest accomplishments, and it's opened up a lot of new doors for me, and I'm really happy to share with you guys on your venue today.
How inspiring is that?
Yes, and that's crazy. I have a crate. It's like an old back in the day milk crate full of journals, and I looked at it recently, and to just see your growth from years back to forward, like what your thinking was and what you were writing about and what was important is huge. So you can see your growth, but I'm not writing a book about that. But it was just, I never met anybody else who saved those.
Wonderful. So tell us about your book.
Okay, well, like I said, it's called The Journal of a Starving Artist, Underground Starving Artist. So it's a lot of short stories of things that have happened to me in the music game, as well as things that happened to me personally outside of the music game. And a lot of them are funny. People laugh hard, and people say they cry.
wow.
So it touches all the emotions, from the joys and the pains. Because my hip hop group is called the Have-Nots, and we were formed in 1999 right here in Portsmouth, and we had a good run in the underground for about 10 years. My partner Sonny Knotts, who is now living up in Massachusetts, he developed some issues. He actually had a cocaine habit that started to get real. Me, I went through some personal issues too, with family and divorce, and had 6 children, 3 baby mothers. There was some financial stresses and things like that. And I had some legal problems running into the law. I had some betrayal, things that happened in the street. And so I chronicle most of the highlights and lowlights of all of those things and all of those stories.
I'm interested in reading it. Absolutely. So, one thing that I want to know is I always hear people say the term starving artist. Elaborate, please.
Well, yeah, you know, basically, I'm not starving, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, you know, maybe starving for the attention that you think you deserve when you
Yes.
make good music. And then, you know, hip hop has changed so much over the years. You know, I'm
Oh,
listening
yes.
to your playlist this morning, and Ladies First, Mama Said Knock You Out. You know, I'm listening to things that I grew up on. And
Yes, yes.
And I know you said you wanted us to share an excerpt, and in my excerpt I talk about how the music game just changed, and the hip hop game just changed for those of us who are old enough to remember the way it used to be.
Yes.
And so part of the reason for me to choose the name The Have-Nots as the name of my group is because there were so many people talking about bling records and talking about materialistic lifestyles. I was actually on tour with some of these people. I was ghostwriting for Lil Zane, and we were on tour. We're opening up for Whitney Houston, actually, in the summer of '99. And I was around these guys on the tour bus day in and day out, and they lived that lifestyle, and it wore on me, you know. And I after a while, I separated myself from these guys because I did not like the feeling of being around them, and I did not want to become one of them. You know, no disrespect to anybody who was part of that entourage, but it was certain moral and spiritual deficiencies that when I left and came back to VA, I was like, you know what, I gotta get this smell off of me, because I don't like myself. I don't like being in this lifestyle that y'all are living. I need some peace. I need some focus. I need some clarity. And I needed to invest my time into something that meant something. And so, you know, being a starving artist and, you know, kind of like self-proclaimed champion of starving artists by forming the group The Have-Nots, I wanted everybody out there that's starving, you know, figuratively, to be like, yo, you know, you can keep it real. You don't have to front like you got all these things just because you're making a record. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think that the poor man's life is more interesting, told in detail, than the rich man's life. So tell your
Speak
story.
on it.
Yes. I like that. Now, you touched on something that just sparked my attention. You made mention that you guys were on tour.